Hello, today I'm coming to you from the floor because I don't want to sit in a chair. I'm starting a vlog thingy today. I've seen other people make a video similar to this where this is revolving around the Goodreads Choice Awards, where basically they'll pick like one category and then like read all the books and all the nominations in that category. Always wanted to do this, like even before I've seen videos about it, because basically if you don't know what the Goodreads Choice Awards are, it's like towards the end of the year, Goodreads has this huge awards situation where Goodreads users basically vote for books in certain categories for what they think the best book in that category is, and the categories are all like different genres. There's 20 categories, they're all genres. There's like fantasy, mystery, thriller, romance, genres, but there also are some more like nuanced categories like humor, cookbooks, memoirs, things like that. So basically what happens is there are several rounds to the Goodreads Choice Awards. Now, I just looked this up how this works because it's extremely confusing, but I believe how this works is in the first round of the awards thingies, it is 15 books, which Goodreads gathers into a category by genre in some statistical manner. Those 15 books everybody votes on, but they can also write in books during that period. So then, I think now it's in November, 5 more books are added to the categories, and those 5 books come from write-ins. So people have written in books that they vote for that should be added to the category, if that makes sense. Then there are 20 books. Then, after that, people vote again, and it's narrowed down to 10 books, and then those are the final 10 books, and so one of those 10 books will be the winner of that category. I hope that makes sense, and I hope I explained it correctly, because it is a very confusing concept to me, and I don't even know if I got it correct. We're gonna learn together, honestly, through this video how this works. So why I'm doing this is because there is like a problem I feel with the Goodreads Choice Awards, where basically the most popular book in each category wins, like the one with the most ratings, not necessarily with the highest ratings, because people, like, I've done this before. When I vote, I just vote for the one that I've heard of. And like now that like I know more books, like I can base my vote more on like what I've heard other people say rather than just what I've heard of. But a lot of times it just comes down to like which one I've heard of, and I could just not vote, but like where's the fun in that? So basically what I'm doing for this video is I'm going to try to make my vote the most accurate for me that I possibly can, so I'm not just guessing. I'm only gonna do this for one category this year. In the future, I'd love to do it for more categories, but I'm starting small this year, especially because I'm starting still late in the year. So it's October 21st today. I wanted to film this before they come out so that I can make my predictions, because I think that's fun. So I'm gonna make some predictions about what I think will be nominated for the first 15 picks for the first round. And I have a list, and I definitely think that did I say I'm doing this for romance? I don't think I said that. I'm doing this for the romance category, and the reason I chose romance is because I've already read several romances that have come out this year, and also I read romances really, really fast, so I will like, things change a lot in this situation, so if like at the last minute I have to add another book or take away a book, like it's not going to be that big of a deal. Also, this is really helpful because I'm trying to meet my Goodreads goal, and right now I'm at like 66 books, and it's October 21st, so we're really trying to catch up. So I have a couple predictions. So these are the ones that I think personally are going to be nominated in at least the first round, if not at some point. So I definitely think The Spanish Love Deception by Elena Armaz is going to be nominated. This book, like, as soon as it came out, there was a ton of hype surrounding it, and I think like so many people read it. This has been so hyped in the romance community. I definitely think that this will be one of the ones that will be initially nominated, and this is one that I've already read, so that's really helpful. I really hope it's nominated because that's one less book that I have to read. In addition, People We Meet on Vacation, I think this is like an obvious one by Emily Henry. This has been so hyped since like a year before it came out. I definitely think this will be nominated. And then same with Act Your Age, Eve Brown. I read this, by the way. These are the ones that I've read. Act Your Age, Eve Brown by Talia Hibbert. Talia Hibbert's books have been like, this series is all over the place. Everybody loves it, and this is the last book in the series, so I definitely think this is gonna be on there. Okay, those are the only ones I've read. I thought I had read more. Those are the ones that I've read that I think are going to be nominated. I also think the third book in the Kiss Quotient trilogy is going to be on there. It's called The Heart Principle. The only problem is if the third book gets nominated, then I also have to read the second one. But that's another day problem. So these are the other ones that I think are going to be nominated. I'm going to try to do them in order from ones like I'm most sure about to least sure about. I'm like 99% sure The Love Hypothesis by Allie Hazelwood, I think, is going to be on there. That book is like so popular. I think that one honestly has a chance of winning. Also, It Happened One Summer by Tessa Bailey. This one, it definitely had a lot, I guess the hype is kind of dying down for it, but when it came out, it had a huge amount of hype. So I just kind of, I'm guessing, I think, I feel pretty confident about that one. One Last Stop by Casey McQuiston. Red, White, and Royal Blue was like so widely well accepted that I think it would be really surprising if One Last Stop wasn't nominated just because it was so highly anticipated. The Soulmate Equation by Christina Lauren. It's just like a classic Christina Lauren that gets put on there. Second First Impressions by Sally Thorne, and she wrote The Hating Game, so I think Second First Impressions has a really good chance of being on there. And ones I'm less sure about, The X-Hex, that one is more recent, but I have been hearing a lot of really great things about it, but I don't know like enough about it to know like how true that all is, but I think, I mean, it's just really popular right now, so I'm just guessing. Then there's the X-Hex and there's the X-Talk, which I think will also be nominated. I know like almost nothing about that one, but it's just, I hear people talking about it all the time. And then Neon Gods. So a lot of times in the romance category, fantasy romance gets nominated. And so that's why I think Neon Gods is going to be nominated by Katie Roberts. Also, A Court of Silver Flames, I think will definitely be on there. I think that one actually has a really good chance of winning. And then whatever Jennifer L. Armentrout came out this year with her fantasy romance books will probably be on there. I know from Blood and Ash freaking won last year. So whatever the crap she's come out with, what did she just came out with, like Shadow and Ember or something? That one will probably be on there. I don't know if one of the like Gilded Cage Bone books came out this year. That one will probably be on there. Here's my thing, is my problem with when fantasy, like from Blood and Ash, wins the romance category, it irks me because the romance industry is female dominated. There are tons of female readers and writers who make up the romance publishing industry. It's female dominated. So when a fantasy romance wins, it cheapens it because fantasy is male dominated. So it's like the closest thing that the romance category can get to a male-dominated industry. That's what keeps winning. And it just irks me because I really think just a regular romance should be able to win the Goodreads Choice Awards. So I'm rooting for any other book besides a fantasy romance. One of the other ones, I think one of the Scarlett St. Clair, is that her name? She wrote Touch of Darkness, the Hades and Persephone retelling. I think one of those came out this year, so that could potentially be nominated. But basically, I'm going to try to gather as many of these books as I can and read them. I'm like literally going to start as soon as I can. A lot of these I would read regardless if they're on the Goodreads Choice Awards, so I have no problem purchasing some of them. I will keep you updated with all of these, and then when the nominations come out, we will see which ones are on there, how I was right, how I was wrong, and yeah, that's basically it for right now, I guess. I will update you when I start reading one of these. I'm really excited to be doing this year because I've always wanted to do this, and I'm just very, very excited to finally be able to accurately vote for the Goodreads Choice Awards. I will see you when I see you next. I don't know when these are going to be nominated. I hope it's going to be in the next week so that I can actually nail down a TBR. But I will let you know when I know something. See you then. Okay. Apparently, this entire vlog is going to take place on the floor with wet hair. I have not updated you in a while. I don't remember when I filmed that last clip, but it's now November 1st. I totally mixed up the dates of when they usually announce the Goodreads Choice Awards stuff, and I'm pretty sure it's like mid-November. I thought it was the end of October for some reason, but I'm pretty sure it's like mid-November. So I have a while until, like, 2 weeks about. I'm giving myself, like, 2 weeks until I think these are going to be announced. In the meantime, I've purchased some books that I wanted to share with you, and I've also read a book that I think will be nominated, and so I wanted to share those with you really quick and kind of update you. Okay, so first I'm going to talk about the book that I read in the past couple days, which is A Court of Silver Flames by Sarah J. Maas. I'm like 99% sure this is going to be on that list. If this isn't, I will be so surprised, but I was reading it because I'm reading Sarah J. Maas right now for another video. Basically, I gave this book 5 stars. I absolutely loved it more than any of the other Sarah J. Maas books I'd ever read. I felt like this was a whole new person I was reading. It felt so different than the rest of her books. I absolutely loved it. I apologize if the angle keeps changing. I didn't want to get my tripod out for this, so you're stacked on, like, books right now. So yeah, so I don't remember what I was saying. I had to go run and do something really quick, so I totally lost my train of thought. But yeah, 5 stars. I love this so much, and I will talk more about it. If this isn't in my top 10 favorite books of 2021, I will be so surprised. I want to quickly then share with you the books that I purchased, and then I have a little bit more I want to say about how I will be, like, voting and stuff as I, like, read, like, how the structure of this video will go on. But first I want to share the 3 books that I got. Like I said before, I'm not going to be purchasing every single book that I read. Hopefully I'll be able to get some of them through my library and stuff and through Libby. But these 3 I knew that I wanted to own regardless, so I bought them. The first one is The Love Hypothesis by Allie Hazelwood. This book has been going around everywhere for, like, so long. I feel like it's actually only been, like, maybe 2 months, but I've heard so much about it that I can't remember a time when I didn't know this book existed, because everybody is reading it, everybody is raving about it, and I'm so excited to be reading it finally. I think I will start this pile with this one because I'm just so certain that it'll be on the list. I feel like this could even be a contender to win, along with, I feel like, A Court of Silver Flames could also be a contender to win. I'm really excited to read this one. I also got It Happened One Summer by Tessa Bailey. I've never read from Tessa Bailey before, but I really want to get into her stuff, and I'm kind of using this one as an excuse to get into her stuff. And then obviously the last one, Christina Lauren. Predictable. I love Christina Lauren. They are always on, you know, nomination lists and everything, so I'm really sure that this is going to be on it. I'm really excited to read it, and I wanted to own it just because I want to read everything Christina Lauren has ever written, and this is in that category. Okay, got cut off again, this time by apparently running out of storage, which that doesn't seem possible to me because I've deleted so much off of this freaking phone, but whatever. Okay, so basically how I'm going to decide what I'm voting for, like, as I'm going to be doing, like, a ranking type of system of, like, what's my top favorite, and then also this will just be fun to see, like, that'll be kind of be my recommendation ranking of, like, what I think the best one is, and then so on and so forth. So we talked about before what I've already read that I think is going to be nominated, so I'll rank those right now for you so we have, like, a baseline. And obviously this will probably change very drastically because I don't even know if these ones are technically going to be nominated. So these are the 3 that I think will be nominated that I've already read, and then plus A Court of Silver Flames. And basically I think how I'm gonna rank it is this one is still on top. I find it so hard to believe that anything will beat this book, which is, like, kind of, now I'm thinking about it, like, why am I even going into this when I pretty much know what I'm going to be voting for? I guess it's, like, my safety in case this one isn't nominated, which if it isn't nominated, I will literally throw a fit. And then second is A Court of Silver Flames, which is really surprising to me personally. And then this is kind of hard. I like both of these a lot, but I think I'd do this, Emily Henry, and then The Spanish Love Deception. So that is the order that I would vote for them. The last thing that I wanted to say was I've been thinking about the books that could potentially be nominated for, like, obviously I've been thinking about the books that could potentially be nominated and how many books that is, and if there will be any books that I will, like, not purposefully not read. And, like, I don't want to purposefully not read any, but, like, now that I'm thinking about it, like, I'm really certain that Jennifer L. Armentrout is probably going to be nominated, like, one of her, like, the 3rd book in her series or something. I probably won't read that if it's the 3rd book in the series, like, because then I would have to read the other 2. Basically, that is all I have to say for now. It is November 1st, like I said, so I will be getting into these books now. These 3 are all in my November TBR. I will see you when I have more to say, if I buy more books or read more books or whatever happens next. I will let you know. Okay, that's it. Goodbye. So basically, I'm coming to you today to tell you that the Goodreads Choice Awards have been announced, and I don't know how much I've missed because I just noticed now that they were announced. It is currently November 15th. So I'm going to be here with you reacting to what the romance is, so to see what I have to read. So here we go. Oh my gosh, I'm already looking. It's too late. Okay, so the first one is While We Were Dating by Jasmine Guillory. Did not predict that one. Forgot about that one. That I should have seen coming. How to Fail at Flirting by Denise Williams. I've heard of this one, but it was not on my list because I didn't think it was that popular. 3, The Charm Offensive by Allison Cochran. I have never heard of this book. I'm going to talk to you while my friend Sarah is here. Have you heard of The Charm Offensive?
The Charm... No, I have not.
Okay, so Charm Offensive, never heard of that, but I'm going to read it. One Last Stop by Casey McQuiston. I'm 50% of the way through, so good for me. Act Your Age, Eve Brown. Obviously knew it was going to be on here. Right now, that's what I'm voting for. Okay, so I have 13 days to read all these books, so that's fun. Next is Life's Too Short by Abby Jimenez. I've never heard of this either, but it's the author of the Happy Ever After playlist. I have heard of that one. The Spanish Love Deception, read that. Neon Gods, It Happened One Summer, I have that one. The Road Trip by Beth O'Leary. That is crazy. I didn't see that coming. The Heart Principle. So I read The Bride Test. I don't know if I updated you, but I read The Bride Test by Helen Huang, and I didn't like it a lot. I gave it 3 stars, and I didn't want to read The Heart Principle because I've heard it's like not like a lighthearted romance. It's supposed to be really sad, and I don't know if I'm emotionally prepared for that considering I'm reading 2 bomb books this month. So I don't know what I'm going to do about that. Then The Dating Plan by Sarah Desai, which I have heard of, but I didn't expect to be on this because it wasn't that hyped. Shipped by Angie Hockman, never heard of it. The Soulmate Equation by Christina Lauren. As I predicted, People We Meet on Vacation, I've read, by Emily Henry. The X-Hex, which I also predicted, but I don't have it. It's not supposed to come for another 7 weeks, so that's fun. I just might have to buy it. 7 Days in June by Tia Williams. I can't believe that wasn't on my list. That's so obvious. The Love Hypothesis by Allie Hazelwood. Obviously, read that. 7 First Impressions by Sally Thorne. That's another one I thought was going to be on there. And then The X Talk, which I think I might have had on there, like, maybe. So let's see what I thought was going to be on there but wasn't. A Court of Silver Flames I thought was going to be on there. Very shook it's not, but maybe it's on fantasy. Is it in fantasy?
I'm not spoiling.
Okay, she's not spoiling it. Okay. I thought definitely there was going to be a Jennifer L. Armentrout book on there. So I'm really surprised Jennifer L. Armentrout wasn't on there because she's always nominated for romance. But I'm happy she's not because I don't think she should be. But who knows, she might be nominated for a write-in or something. But yeah, so basically those are the opening round nominees for the Goodreads Choice Awards. So basically to clarify, like, what my goal is for this is I'm going to read all of the books in this category before the round closes so that I can actually vote for what I think is the best one instead of just like the most popular one or the one that I like the best out of the ones that I've read, just because like there are like I said, there's some on here that I don't know, and like they might not be as popular as some of the other ones, but they might be just as good, you know what I mean? So I want to make sure that I'm voting for the one that I think is truly the best.
I already voted for books that I didn't even read.
Yeah, for the other categories, I'm just gonna vote. But for this one, yeah, so I will keep you updated. One Last Stop will probably be the next one that I finish. So I will let you know when I finish that and when I finish the other ones, and I will keep you updated. And everybody send prayers right now to whatever deity you believe in that I will finish all these books in 13 days. And that's it.
She definitely won't.
Okay, thanks for the confidence. Okay, so I filmed a clip last night about the Goodreads Choice Awards getting announced and everything. Sorry about the steering wheel situation. And I was like so excited about it being announced that I didn't notice a couple things that I've since noticed, have seen a lot of comments about, which is that there is only 2 rounds this year, and usually there is 3? There's not 2. There's usually more than 2. And the reason there's only 2 this year is because there's no write-in option, which used to be a thing. Oh! My food fell on the floor. So the write-in used to be an option, if you aren't aware, where I don't know if it was instead of voting or in addition to voting, you could nominate a book that was not on the list that you thought deserved to win. And I always thought this was a really great thing. I don't know that I ever wrote in anything, but I know a lot of people who did, and a lot of books that would be switched out because of the write-in. And it like actually very much changed how the Goodreads Choice Awards, like the outcome. Okay, I've had to slightly readjust you, but Basically, what I was saying is there's a lot of people who are upset that there is no write-in option for a lot of reasons. So one of the main problems with this is that it's called the Goodreads People Choice Awards, but they are taking a very important and vital choice away from the people. And I don't get why, because if it's the People's Choice Awards, in this option of another choice is taken away, is it really their choice, or are they choosing from the options that Goodreads gave them? So it's Goodreads' choice, but we get to choose from Goodreads' choice, so it's really not the People's Choice Awards. So that's a bit like aggravating, this idea that the most popular book always wins, which is a huge problem that already exists with the Goodreads Choice Awards. It's the ones that always get nominated, the ones that always win are always the most popular, because that's what people who don't know any other books just vote for the ones that they've heard of, which is usually the most popular. This kind of forces people into that box, because if somebody isn't allowed to write in, they're just going to vote for the book that they heard of, and most likely that's going to be the most popular one. So I think the results for this year are going to be the most skewed they've ever been, the most inaccurate they've ever been. I'm still going to participate in trying to make my vote the most accurate, at least for romance, but yeah, I'm a bit miffed at why they even took that option out. I can't conceive of a reason that they would do that unless they want certain books to win over others. I don't know even why they would want that. Goodreads is broken in so many ways that if there was some kind of Amazon-esque corruption going on inside of it, I wouldn't be surprised. But I feel like that's a bit far-fetched because it's Goodreads. But yeah, that's kind of the tea. I wanted to say something before I forgot, or before I just continued this video without acknowledging it, because I think it is an important thing to acknowledge. I also noticed that it took out a bunch of categories. I believe there's only 17 this year, and usually there is many more. Some of the ones that picture book categories and cookbook category I noticed were gone, and I saw some people complaining about that. I don't know why they're gone. I will let you know if anything is updated. By the way, I'm practicing safe driving practices currently. This is literally the only time that I had time to film today, and I was very worried that I was gonna forget. But do be careful when you're driving. Drive safely. I'm driving safely currently. Even though I'm filming, I'm just talking as if I would were a camera not pointed at me. So somebody's beeping and it's not at me. I want the record to show that wasn't at me because I'm practicing safe driving practices. Anyway, I'm gonna go now and I will speak to you soon-ish, maybe. I have some information to share with you all. Basically today, what's the date? It's the 26th of November. This is my literal livelihood. Stop laughing. Okay, it's the 26th of November, which means that I have a couple more days of this Goodreads thing. I've just come to some realizations that I need to share with you. And the first is that I'm gonna stop. Because here's the thing. I was really busy. I literally have a life. The problem is that I was doing mock trial, which is this course where you pretend to be lawyers. And I had this giant competition, and so 2 weeks of my life was dedicated to doing this competition, and it was very, very intense, and I didn't have any time to read the books. And it sounds like I'm making excuses, but genuinely very intense stuff. So basically I checked a couple days ago, and I had 3 days and I had to read 14 books, and I realized that's not gonna happen. And I'm really stressed out because I have a lot of books to read. I haven't read any of my books for my November TBR. I haven't, it's a very stressful life for me right now. So I realized because they changed the Goodreads, I do not like the changes for the Goodreads Choice Awards this year, but it actually might benefit me because I realized the books aren't going to change. The book that is going to win the Goodreads Choice Award is already in there. You know what I mean? It's already in.
You're so dumb.
I'm not dumb. I'm a genius. Okay, the book that is going to be selected for the top romance book of 2021 is already in the category, and previously it might not have been because of write-ins, but basically what that means is I just have to read the top 5. I don't have to read all of them. And okay, this actually stop. Okay, this matters a little bit because my vote, I still want it to be accurate for the opening round. But what I'm slowly realizing is my vote isn't going to change. I genuinely think I'm only ever going to vote for Talia Hibbert. So now I'm going to update you with what I've read in the meantime, because I've read more books for this category, but I'm not going to be able to read all of them. And I'm going to stop trying because I'm so freaking stressed.
I'm proud of you.
Thank you. I literally have like two days and 8 hours to read 9 books, and it's not going to happen. So I'm going to tell you what I did read. Okay, here are the books that I did read. One Last Stop. 3 stars, I think. Not voting for it. I liked it, but I didn't like the sci-fi elements to it. I felt like there was too many things happening, and it just needed to stop. A Spanish Love Deception, 4 stars, was good. I already talked about that one. The X Talk, which I just finished today, audiobook. Wouldn't recommend the audiobook. Was a little intense at certain parts, if you know what I mean. 4 stars, really, really enjoyed that one. Highly recommend. How to Fail at Flirting, didn't really like it. 3 stars, pretty average. People We Meet on Vacation, 5 stars. Neon Gods by Katie Robert, that's one that I read that I don't think I've talked about yet. Gave it 3 stars, just really a little bit out there for me, and it really was just marketed incorrectly. It really has nothing to do with Greek mythology except for the names. Love Hypothesis, 5 stars. Actor A.G. Brown, 5 stars. The ones that I do plan on reading, though, regardless of what's happening, are The Soulmate Equation by Christina Lauren and It Happened One Summer by Tessa Bailey, because I own those 2 books. And I think both of those have a good chance of being in the next round. But then I also started The Road Trip by Beth O'Leary, and so I probably will finish that one. Not like in the next 2 days, but like before the end of the year. Because I don't think many of the other ones really have a chance of getting into the top 5. So that's my tea for you. I do, like, in the future want to be able to read all of the books that are nominated, especially if they bring back the write-in round. But for this year, I will not be doing that. And that's all I have to say for now. Goodbye. Hello. This video is so chaotic at this point. I don't even know if I'm going to post it because this is so disorganized. I feel like I haven't actually come on here and said cohesive thoughts in a very long time. I haven't ranked the books in a very long time. Maybe I'll like come in here at certain points and do that. I don't know. But anyway, it's the 30th of November, which means I believe it was yesterday that they announced the final round. So the final round, I believe, is like the top 5 books that got the most votes. I did end up voting. I voted for Actor Age Eve Brown by Talia Hibbert because I believe so thoroughly in that book, and that was still my top choice. Even after reading, half of them, still my top choice. But I am going to make sure to read all 5 of the ones that are in the top 5 of the Choice Awards and vote for sure on that. I don't know what the top 5 are quite yet, but I'm hoping I've read at least 1 or 2 of them. If Actor Age Eve Brown isn't in it, I'm going to be really upset. Okay, hang on. There's more than 5, and I don't know why. But the good news is, wow, okay, so there's more than 5. I thought there was gonna be 5. Maybe I made that up. There's 10. I guess, how many were there before? Like 20? So I guess now you vote from these 10. Luckily, I've read 8 of them. Is that true? I've read 8 of them. So here are the top 10. The X-Hex, which I have not read, I have it on Libby, or I have it like on hold at Libby. It should be coming in hopefully very soon. If not, I guess I'll just buy it. I don't know. 2, The Love Hypothesis, read 5 stars. 3, Neon Gods by Katie Robert, 3 stars, not that great. Actor Age Eve Brown is number 4. 7 Days in June by Tia Williams is one that I didn't get to. That was the next one that I was gonna read, and I didn't get to it, but now I will, obviously. Then The Spanish Love Deception, I've read 4 out of 5. Soulmate Equation, I don't know that I've told you that I read that book, but I have. Oh, just kidding, there's 3 I haven't read on here. Okay, I did read The Soulmate Equation, 1,000,000 out of 10. Loved it. I mean, not as much as Actor Age, but it's close. Like, that is the closest one. They're almost tied in my heart. Like, they're both so good. I love Christina Lauren so much. Then number whatever I'm at is It Happened One Summer by Tessa Bailey. I have not read that one yet. That's the one I forgot that I didn't read. I own that book, so I keep thinking that I've read it, but I have not. Then One Last Stop by Casey McQuiston, which is 3 out of 5 for me, and People We Meet on Vacation by Emily Henry, which is 5 out of 5. I'm not surprised by literally any of these except Neon Gods, honestly. Didn't expect that to get this far, And then, I mean, I'm not really surprised about the rest of these. These were all very popular books throughout the year, but I'm very excited for those 3. Mostly, It Happened One Summer. I've been anticipating that book for a really long time, and also 7 Days in June. The X-Hex, I was really highly anticipating, but I've started to hear really bad things about it. So, now I'm a little iffy about it. But yeah, I will keep you updated with the ones that I read. I have 5 days and 15 hours. So, that's not a ton of time to read 3 books, but I think I'm gonna start It Happened One Summer today, and we're gonna see what happens, and I'll let you know, and I'll keep you updated this time, I promise. Okay, that's it. Goodbye. Hey, what's up, guys? I have a great story for you. So, you want to hear a really great anecdote that is just like very representative of my whole life? So basically, I started to make a video where I was going to read all of the books that were nominated for the Goodreads Choice Awards, in the romance category specifically. And I really tried. Like, I went for it, and I did really good. You know what? I did so good. And when the top 10 were announced, I was like, I can do this, because I only had like 4 more to read. Read them, you know what, nailed it, except one of them, which I'll talk about a little bit. Basically read all of them. And you know what I didn't do? You know what I didn't do? I didn't vote. I forgot. I forgot to vote. I forgot to do the point of this video, which was to vote. Is that not upsetting? It doesn't matter. Anyway, I'm still gonna post this video, because I worked so hard on it. And I really read so many books. This is going to be my conclusive clip. We're going to find out what the winner was, because the winner was announced today or yesterday or something. I'm going to tell you what I would have voted for. I think I would have voted... It's hard, man. It is hard. I either would have voted for... My top 3 would have been Actor A.G. Brown, The Love Hypothesis, and The Soulmate Equation. One of those 3 I would have voted for. Probably Actor A.G. Brown. My prediction of what won is The Soulmate Equation, because it's Christina Lauren, and she deserves it. They deserve that win. So we're just gonna basically take a gander about whomst won. The winner is People We Meet on Vacation! Wow. Okay, wow. Okay, I'm able to see all of the votes right now in order. So I'm gonna talk about these. You know what? No, before I look at that, I'm gonna give you my order, and then I'm gonna tell you the actual order. I wasn't able to read all the books. Let me explain. So you know, the original 15 or 20, however many it was, I wasn't able to read all of them. It was a mess. I was so stressed. It was too much. And I'm okay with that I didn't read all of those. I'm gonna try again next year, but I mean, I'm trying to be easier on myself and not beat myself up over this. I didn't accomplish the goal, but it's okay. I really did good. I read a lot of them, a big percentage of them. The one that I didn't finish from the top 10 was 7 Days in June. Is that what it's called? By Tia Williams. This is the last one that I had to read. And the reason I didn't finish it is because I really didn't know anything about it, and if I had known what it was going to be about, I would have started it a lot earlier. I firmly think that this should not have been categorized as a romance, because I think that there's like an overarching story. I feel like that is so much more than just like romance. Not that romance isn't, you know, moving and like, you know, but this book is like not like any of the other ones that are in this category. I feel like it should have been either in contemporary, even like literary fiction. Like, it is an intense and powerful book. I don't know, because, I mean, romance can be looked at multiple different ways, and a lot of people define romance as like something lighthearted, happily ever after, things like that. And I'm not saying this book should not have been nominated. This book should have been nominated in many different categories, I think. And if it wasn't able to make it in any of those other categories, I think it should have been romance. It should have been nominated no matter what. And I haven't finished it, so that's another thing. I think I'm like 40% of the way through. This book tackles a lot of really intense things. Like, this book is really heavy, and so it's not something that I was prepared to read in a day, which was the amount of time that I had to read it. And so I was like, this book is too important for me to try to squeeze into a day. I'm gonna allow myself more time to get through this one. So I still have not finished that book. I don't know when I'm going to finish it. I'm not rushing it. I am going to finish it, obviously, but I don't know when exactly that will be. So I'm going to really quickly go and rank all of the books that I read, and then I will come back to you and let you know what my rankings are compared to Goodreads rankings and then that'll be the end of this video, and it's gonna be done, and it's gonna be over, and I'm gonna be fine, and I'm not gonna cry. Okay, here we go. Bye. Okay, people, let's talk numbers. I've done some numbering, and here's what I have to say. What am I doing? What did I say I was gonna do? Because I did something different than what I said I was gonna do. I think I was gonna say what I ranked them as, and then what it was ranked as. That is what I said I was gonna do. I'll do that first, but then I have something else important to say, so don't leave. So here are my rankings. I'll put them on the screen here, then I'll say them to you now. So number 1, I had Act Your Age, Eve Brown. Number 2, I had The Soulmate Equation. Number 3, I had The Love Hypothesis. Number 4, I had People We Meet on Vacation. 5, The X-Hex. 6, It Happened One Summer. 7, The Spanish Love Deception. 8, The X-Talk. I'm looking down because I'm reading, sorry. 9, One Last Stop. 10, How to Fail at Flirting. And 11, Neon Gods. And then I'll put the comparison here. So here are my rankings, and here is how Goodreads ranked the books that I've read. So these are not, there were 20 total books that were ranked. Here's how Goodreads ranked only the books that I read. I'll show you the full rankings in a second, but just so you can compare and contrast the books that were read. So number 1, Goodreads had People Who Meet on Vacation. 2, The Love Hypothesis. 3, One Last Stop. 4, The Spanish Love Deception. 5, Act Your Age, Eve Brown. 6, The X-Hex. 7, Neon Gods. 8 was 7 Days in June. 9 was It Happened One Summer. 10 was The Soulmate Equation. 11 through 15 were all books I didn't read. And then 16 was The X-Talk. 17 through 19 were books that I didn't read. And then 20 was How to Fail at Flirting. Those are how my list and Goodreads lists compare. Now I'm just going to put up on the screen while I speak to you what Goodreads ranked all of the books. And I want to talk to you about something. So let's have a chat. At the beginning of this video, I actually left in the explanation of how Goodreads usually does it, because even though they changed it this year, I wanted you to be aware of how they used to do it, because I think that's how they should have done it this year. I don't agree with the way they did it this year without having the write-ins. I think that maybe the overall result wouldn't have changed, because now that I'm looking at some other numbers that I'll get to in a second, I think that People We Meet on Vacation would have won regardless. But I think it's important that other people are allowed to choose, since it's the People's Choice Awards, what books get nominated. Another important thing, which I talked about briefly before, about the Goodreads Choice Awards, and the reason I made this video was because almost always the book with the most number of ratings wins, because it's the book that most people have heard of. So people will vote, even if they haven't read any of the books, for the ones they've heard the most about, which is usually the one with the most ratings. So I I just looked at which books had which number of ratings. I wanted to look at which books had the most number of ratings to see if that correlated with which books were at the top, and it did and it didn't. And so I want to share with you some of those numbers to show you kind of what it was like, and it's a little bit confusing. So when I say number of ratings, I mean basically the number of times that book has been rated, which if you think about it, basically means the number of times that book has been read, the number of people who have read that book and then documented that they've read that book and rated it on Goodreads. So it's the most popular book, but not necessarily the best book, you know what I mean? So that's basically what that means. So it's the number of times that book has been read and rated on Goodreads. It doesn't even have to be a review. It's just literally somebody put this book is 4 stars and then bam, it's that adds the number. People We Meet on Vacation had the most number of ratings, had 20, no, I have trouble with numbers, so this is gonna be a fun time. 247,650 people rated that book, and that won. And that, by the way, is the most number of ratings by far that any of these books have. 247,000 is over 100,000 more ratings than any other book on this list. The second most rated book also happens to be the one that was rated second on Goodreads. That is The Love Hypothesis by Ali Hazelwood. That had 130,290 votes. No, not votes. Ratings. Gosh, okay. So those two make sense, had the most ratings, and got the top 2 spots. So, I mean, those are kind of the numbers I wanted to share with you. The rest of them, I can put up, I'll put up the order of the ratings. This is going to be so much work for me, but the number, how they should have been ranked according to the number of ratings. So from most ratings to least ratings, here are the books. This is how they were rated by Goodreads. You can see they almost line up. I think at the end, when it changes a lot, that's where the real nuance is. That's where the accuracy is people who read those books probably are people who have read a lot of romance who are able to accurately vote. I think that's my prediction. I really don't know. So basically, my footage, just like half of it got corrupted. So I'm gonna finish the video now for you with my final conclusions. I don't know why that happened, but the rest of the video is gone. Basically, the last thing that I had to say was, so we looked at the comparison of how Goodreads ranked it, how it was rated by number of ratings, but I thought of another way recently to look at it that I think is the most interesting way. And like probably nobody cares about the numbers, but I do, so I'm sharing this all with you. By number of ratings, we get like accuracy at the top, like the most popular ones are at the top. A little bit like, I think there's like a social aspect to it that changes how the number of ratings affected the voting. But what I wanted to look at is the average rating for each book. So if, let's say, the goal of, I don't know exactly what the goal of the Goodreads Choice Awards is, but let's say it's to pick the best book of the year. I think that's like a fair assumption that that is what the goal is. So technically, out of the 20 books that are selected, the best book of the year should have the highest average rating. So the average rating is calculated by all of the people who have submitted a numbered rating, so 1 through 5 is averaged out, and then that is the average rating of the book. So anyway, I wanted to rank the books based on the average rating, because like the one with the highest rating, average rating, should have been the one that won, right? So let's see how this ranked. I'll put the average rating here ranked, and then the Goodreads, how Goodreads ranked it. And I think this is the most telling of why popularity wins. So, like, for example, the top, 5 are all the top ones with the most number of ratings. But let's see how they ranked average rating-wise. I hope you understand what I'm getting at here. So the Love Hypothesis ranked number 1 with an average of 4.44 stars, which is very good. Like, that is a very, very good rating, and I'm not surprised at all because I think that book was amazing. But then we get to The Charm Offensive with 4.32, which is another really good rating. But The Charm Offensive, by number of ratings, is 20th. So it is the least rated book out of the 20 that were nominated. It is the one that has the least number of ratings. The least number of ratings. And it fell 13th, in 13th place on the Goodreads rankings, which I think that's very telling in itself, that a lot of people really enjoyed this book, but it doesn't seem like enough people heard about it in order for it to get the ranking that it deserved. So I think that's a really good example of a book that is underrated, isn't as popular, and so it doesn't rank as well as it should or deserves to. I mean, I didn't read that one, so I can't say whether it deserved to. That was one that I wasn't able to get to. But so going on from there, we have Life's Too Short, which is another one that it fell 14th ranking-wise in Goodreads, and also 14th by number of ratings. So that's another example of one that seems to have done really well, gotten really high ratings, but fell lower than it should because it wasn't as popular. I think that one also is part of a series. It's like the third in a series, so that kind of makes sense also that maybe enough people wouldn't have read it because they would have had to read the first 2 books. Then we have Act Your Age, Eve Brown, The Spanish Love Deception, It Happened One Summer, One Last Stop. I mean, you can read it here. But what's really interesting is that the one with actually the lowest number of ratings, 20th, is The Ex-Hex, which ranked 6th, I believe, which is a pretty high 6th out of 20th for it to be in last place. You would think that those would be a little bit closer, but The Ex-Hex was like super, super hyped, so that makes sense why it was really popular, so it would have, gone up in rating. I think that's just like a really good example of why I think the Goodreads Choice Awards is a little bit skewed and not super accurate, because people are just voting for the books that they heard of, and I think that's really telling that the ones that have the most number of ratings are like the top 5 picks. That's pretty much it for this video. I really enjoyed making this. I know this is like a little bit later than probably the other ones are coming out. This is much later than I planned on posting it. I had some issues with filming and everything and editing. But thank you so much for watching. If you got to the end here, really want to do this again next year and hopefully have the ability to read all of the ones from the, like all of the ones in the category. I'm really like disappointed that I wasn't able to, although like I understand why, like I'm not upset at myself or anything. Like I genuinely had legitimate reasons why I was unable to read all of the books this year, but I really hope to be able to do that next year. Let me know if you want me to do this next year and what genre I should do it for. Romance is the easiest because I can read them the fastest, but if you give me ideas early on in the year, then I can start earlier with what I think will be nominated and stuff like that. Let me know what you voted for in the Goodreads Choice Awards, and that is it for this video. I really hope you enjoyed. I hope you have a great day, I hope you have a great week, and I hope you have a great life, and I'll see you very, very soon. Bye-bye!